G'day everyone, welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC. Quite proud of what we accomplished a couple of days ago. Had to try and figure out what I could do to get a hole through the middle of the body of the drill grinding attachment, and it seems like all of my collection of long series drills have gone for a walk. And it was only yesterday afternoon I was thinking, where the hell would he have put them? And of course with long round things like reamers. So I'll go through the other boxes and see if I can find them again, but all I was left with to get the hole through, and this is 125 millimeters long. I wanted to put a pilot on it because this is not a very strong built machine, and the manual warns you don't try and feed anything bigger than a 1-inch drill with it. It's just not heavy on the gearbox. So I started off with a 3/16 or 4.7 millimeter drill, and I know that the rules say don't try more than 5 to 8 times the diameter and depth or you're into deep hole drilling. Well, it did nearly 127 mil. It comes short of about 10 mil or 3/8 of an inch at the end of it, so I was quite pleased with that. But I came across something that I thought I'd tell you, and that is that how do you know how much to drill when you're in there? Well, I started to figure this out when I started, and I found that if I drilled for 4 seconds it would fill about 3/4 of an inch of the flute with swarf, and that was what I was using right at the very end. Drill for 4 seconds, retract it, clean the drill and back in, and that seems a pretty good bit of a parameter. So we'll talk a little bit more about what I have done, and later on we'll try and get this hole a little bit bigger. I might try with a reduced shank drill, but the old collar chuck won't hold too much. We see how successful we are. But yeah, got most of the way through with that, which I was pleased. I did find this 1/2 inch long series drill, and although it did spin in the chuck twice, that went all the way through, and that was good. I might give it 16 mil, or I might try 20 mil reduced shank. We'll just have a bit of a think about it. And I'm pretty sure I've got a collet to try this trusty old beggar in there. I wasn't being too successful doing the other bits of boring for me when we were doing the housings. However, I might try a Don Dyer trick and just grind the top of the insert off, take about 20 thou off, and give it a flat top without that chip breaker. I'm pretty sure its geometry on the end just isn't sharp, it isn't effective. It might be good for taking a fairly heavy cut for a little insert on a lathe, but for boring applications I'm not overly impressed, and I'm damn sure that I was getting swarf crowding when it was a fair way up inside, and that was pushing the boring bar out because it always seemed to be taking too much on the spring pass, and there was never enough swarf coming out of the hole for my liking. So we'll try and get that a little bit evened up. As you can see on the borer, very simple for work holding. You can square it up either with an engineer square off the side of the table here, or if you turn the table 90 degrees, these are squared and you've got a locking dog to drop in, and I have squaring blocks that drop into these T-slots, so you can run your work up against the squaring blocks. Like, it's just so easy to bloody set up. Okay, enough gas bagging. We will try and get a little bit further. I like the way this turned out. I actually pressed the sleeve into the snout bar holder. I think there's probably 2/10 of a thou that I didn't get out of it, and 2/100 of a mil there, 2/100 of a mil there. Over the length of the long series drill there was no perceptible wobble at the end, so I think I've got true radial run out in an axial direction, or not axial, actually along the tool. So instead of coming out in a spiral, it's coming out, and 2/100 of a millimeter drawing a circle at the end of the driller. Who gives a rat's about that? Okay, I'll try and figure out what I'm going to do for a setup and bring you back for a bit more filming then. Pretty soon we'll have the shaft of the holder in the socket. Okay, as I say on TV, this is a simulated demonstration. I've unplugged the shotgun mic too, just running off the camcorder to see if I can reduce the machine noise a little bit. I chose the 19mm reduced shank drill because it's recently been through the Really drill grinder, and it's got a very, very keen edge. And for the first 15-20 millimeters of the hole, it was really squealing, and I thought I can't show you that. and it's now got stable enough to be reasonably quiet. But it's pulling a good chip. I think I should be able to get through to the other end, and I'm hoping then the 16mm boring bar will go through. If it doesn't, the bigger drill gets up on the reeling. Okay, a couple of tips. That's a nice sharp curl, it's hard to hear the talking to us. Very nice tips. Just plug in occasionally. We're still bringing the tips out quite well. As I said, for the first, it must have been 20 mil or so, it was as loud as hell. Might have been some crap in the material. And I like to put gooey goop in there. I don't like the idea of built up edge or picking up on the tool, and I don't like the idea of having trouble extracting the straw. That's a particularly good cutting compound made for slugger covers or indoor covers. Comes in a paste form in like a toothpaste tube. Love it, just pulling it out beautifully. Amazing how these 60-year-old machine tools can make what could be an unpleasant job so easy. Okay, that'll do for now. And I'll bring you back with something less boring. G'day everybody. Further to this saga, trying to bore it out this time hasn't been very successful. I didn't have any clearance between the boring bar and the bore, and as a consequence I could only take 2 thou cuts, 2.5 thou, and I was going to be there forever. So I've gone back from boring mode to drilling, and I'm going to pep it up to a 22mm drill, which will give me sufficient clearance to be able to take a cut. But interestingly now, the repeatability has come right up. So I take the sliding feed block out, undo the face clamps on the boring head, and this is my first attempt. Oh, I hope you can see that. 2/100ths of a millimetre. That's near as down to perfect as I'd like. And I think some of that is a run out between the Morse taper adapter and the actual snout bar itself. The snout bar holder itself come up with less than 1/100th of a millimetre when I first tested it. So I'm happy with that. Not only have I got good results, but I've got good results again. And that means my facing of the base of the snout bar holder and realigning everything has been pretty good. So I'll get on with the drilling now and bring you back when we're boring again. G'day everybody, back again on the borer, doing that housing for the drill grinding attachment. And I thought I'd just bring you in for a pass. You can see just how boring can be. I've gone up to the 19mm bar with the high-speed steel tool bit, and that's all the protrusion I can give the tool bit. Otherwise it'll be pushed, the bar itself will be over to the other side, and this crappy little swarf just blocks everything up, and it chokes the bar up to the point where it can't be effective. So I'll start the operation, I'll let it run through on the axial vernier till I get to 6 inches into the part, and then I stop the feed, draw it out, use a bit of copper tube to push the swarf out and go through for another pass. It's quite a good tool. This is surprisingly stout, or rigid, even though it's only mild steel, and it appears to be doing a good job. If there was another 1/4 inch in the bore, I could let it take a fair bit more, but this is at 7 thou per rev. So start the noise and give you a look. Longitudinal feed in, and I'll select the gear. According to the feed chart, it's a 6.7 thou per turn. And that starts off really spinning out a bit of swarf. I can't reach it over the other side. That's what it starts throwing out, but pretty soon it slows down to just running chips. With the cutting tool being so close up to the bar, it gets crowded very, very quickly. Quite pleased with the way this old bore is running now. It was worth putting the time and effort into it. And more's the pity, I don't think I've got a 25mm reamer, so I'm going to have to do 2 or 3 spring passes to try and get it right on size. At this low speed, I don't think a brazed carbide tool would be any faster. It certainly wouldn't be any sharper than a good bit of high-speed steel. And for cutting this kind of mild steel, HSS in M42 grade seems to be good enough. We're getting close to the 6-inch mark. Half-inch to go. I also won't get a very good finish at this speed. At the moment I've got another 2.5 mil to get out there. I just want to get out there as fast as I can. Okay, on the mark. Bring the old girl out. The same piece of copper tube I was using to hone the bore earlier, I use now to take the stalk out. We'll run it back into the 6-inch mark. And the spring pass would take quite a bit more material out because it really is getting pushed out by the rubbish that's in there. Now after this boring operation is finished, which should be another half hour or so, I think I've got a indexable end mill I'll be able to put into the casing head or into this harbour and face out across this face here, so that'll be perpendicular to the bore fairly accurately. I'll then end for end it, square it up off the side of the block and face the other end as well. So quite a versatile old machine tool, but oh is it boring working the borer. Just takes a long time. A lot of the older model engineers used to do this work between centres on the lathe with a T-slot on top of the saddle. And it works, but it wouldn't be any faster than this. Okay, we're just about out the other side now. I'm just watching the tool bit as it passes through. Yep, that's it, it's gone quiet. And that's one thing about high-speed steel, it generates a much lower noise level than using a carbide tool, so it's very hard to tell when you're ready to go. Okay, I'll feed it in and give it another pass. Thanks for watching. Well guys, guess who's pleased as pitch with this job? I came through with 3 spring passes, and not only did I get it parallel within 1/100th of a millimetre, but I got it to the right bloody size. Look at that. Just a neat transition sliding fit. No discernible wobble even without lube. No, I'm happy with that. That'll make a good tool grinding attachment. It's not always easy to achieve that level of accuracy, but one thing you've got to realise, even in years of industrial use, if you get some wear, it's just bore both ends and put bushes in. There's no great repair there. Okay, we'll do a little bit of a mock-up if I can find some sort of 16mm shafts, and we'll see how it all fits up to the base and the mount piece. Back soon. Okay, here's one thing I like about using a HBM. We've brought it now to a fairly good fit, and I've just taken the first cut to face off the end, square to the bore. So without changing any of their setup, we'll kick the machine in the belly and hopefully get the head feeding in the right direction. From memory, the feed rate is 6 thou per turn, which is a little bit on the vicious side, but it seems to do okay. I think I advanced it far enough into the cut. Okay, bring you back in a few seconds. Well, that's one thing about making mistakes on camera. You get bloody well caught when you do it. Okay, we'll have another try. And then goes the feed. Let's hope she spins out this time. Well, it seems to be running reasonably well. So he says until you hear the clunkety clunk clunk. Yeah, that's taking a couple of thou this time. Only a fairly light cut. I'll run it through its paces and then bring him back and take another one. But you can see it's just cleaning up the surface and it's doing a very nice job as well. Let's run its course. Now I'll run it all the way in. We're back to the ideal now. Turn that off and I'll take it out just a couple of times. I don't like pushing these little tool bits too hard. Well, no, let's see what it cuts like this time. It's one of the reasons I like working the ferns. Okay, it's getting a little bit tricky now, so I'll bring it back and we've got it up now. And that's the outcome of the exercise there, faced off to a very reasonable standard. And I'm surprised because this block of mild steel has been machining like rubbish so far, but that sharp high-speed steel tool did quite a reasonable job there. Anyway, I'll do an end for end, true up the other side, and then bring you back when we do a bit of a mock-up. Bye for now. Well, what have we got here? First time mock-up for our drill grinding attachment. We have a base, we have a pivot that it'll swing on, a little block inside for the bolt to go on. Main body is cut away, welded to the pivot block, main body, and the spindle's gone through. And that's the eccentric action you get at the front of the chuck. So there's still a hell of a lot of work to do. We've got to put the indexing finger in the cam for doing taps, but it's on the way. And I think I'll take the 16mm boring bar out of the back. It's not really a pivot pin, but I'll make a pin up for it. I don't know whether I'll squeeze or slip and squeeze one of these blocks to lock it and lock the pin, or the other way around. That's still deciding, but there we are. We've got this far in such a short time. I'll swing it around a little bit for you. I'll bring you in close. Watch it fall off the bloody table. It's been a big trip for you. This has been several months in the making, but I've got all the excuses in the world, like selling a business and a shed and moving house and all of those things. I will say this, with the body being made out of solid, it's quite a heavy item to swing. Now I will have a reasonable handle coming off the middle of this side of the body, but if you wanted to build it at home a lot lighter and save a hell of a lot on material, just a bit of 63mm CHS, was that right? Square rolled steel, and a few bits of plate at the end to make the main bushings. The same as the pivot points, you could make them a hell of a lot lighter. And if you're doing thousands of drills a day, that'd probably help. Okay, probably be a few days before I get another episode out, but this should get you glued now because it's starting to take shape. So if you like, please subscribe, give me a tick. Every little bit of help with the channel would be greatly appreciated. Bye for now.